to the plate. Not looking for casuals, looking for debate. Woo! Fluent versus chill versus everyone. Break it down till the best one wins. More fluent every time we talk. That's not ridiculous. Let us hear your thoughts, Walk.
You know, the 3-minute version of that song, I've decided I'm going to put up on Spotify. Shout out to Orby. That's a banger.
Why you bullshitting, Tom?
No, I'm dead serious. I'm going to put it on Spotify.
Yes.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, send it in.
Do you know on Spotify that there are people that use that same technology, Ori, that you introduced me to, that makes those songs that have like, it's not even a real person. It just makes songs using the same voice and the same kind of thing, and they make a bunch of different songs and they release it as whatever, ABC Bailey, whatever the hell the person's name is. They make up a name. They have like a fake AI person. And they're making thousands of dollars on Spotify.
There's an AI artist who got a multi-million-dollar deal from a label, the R&B artist.
And how long have you been singing for, Jalen?
Like 5 years. Yeah, I should have just done the AI, right? I mean, hey, she's actually an amazing songwriter. Shout out to her who created the AI, but she puts her songwriting and she created
she songwrites and then has this AI do it.
Yeah, basically she took like Whitney Houston's voice, Celine Dion's voice, put everyone together, and she sings beautiful ballads.
As someone who sings, isn't that unfair? Like, isn't that like cheating?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, back in the day, you had to really sing to be like, famous and get going. You had to really dance as a performer. You had to have all these, talents and traits to really put it together. Now you got auto-tune that can fix you if you're off key, even live. People really don't even care about stage presence and dance for whatever reason. It's a different game. But hey, if you want, I ain't mad at somebody want to go. If you want, who's not taking a multi-million-dollar deal for you creating an artist? You know what I mean?
I'm trying to figure out. Maybe I should start a Spotify. So I'm gonna start with that song and move from there. Listen, I've been thinking about something, and I know like we only have 3 minutes and we got to get into our first debate. However, I don't know if any of you have any WNBA debates today, so I'm gonna just go and say. That's a horrible deal that the players signed. WNBA.
Oh, Tone, give me
I haven't seen all the details. I know they got a big pay raise. I know they got the big pay raise, but I don't know about
why is it a terrible deal, Tone? Here we go with the bullshit, Tone. I mean, I'm trying to be happy because the first thing that I heard today was that we had a deal, and I'm like, great. Tone, why does this deal suck? What's going on, Tone?
Okay, here's why it sucks. So last year, listen, for everyone who says they didn't make money, go talk to a wall, because every sports league gets paid on revenue, not profit or loss. So
no, that's not the way that works. Correct.
Every sports league gets paid on revenue.
If we're not making money, you're not making money. That's the way that works. Okay.
That doesn't matter. No. It doesn't matter if we're making money. Just how much is coming in. How much is going out. You guys control how much salaries you pay, how much this, that, the other. At the end of the day, every league is about a 50-50 split approximately of this, how much is coming in, we split it. Players get half, owners get half. Owner's job is to figure out how to take that half of the revenue and be profitable. Players, because they do half the work, if not more of the work, players get half of it and it's divvied up among all of them. That's how salary caps are set. That's how they get paid. So when I say made, they brought in $500 million in revenue last year. The $7 million per team works out to approximately, depending on how many teams, because they're adding a few, 90 to 98 million, which is under 20%. That number is already scheduled to go up $200 million with their new TV deal. So at minimum, they're going to bring in $700 million this year with an average team salary of $7 million. So let's say all 4 teams, let's say Toronto and I forget the other new team come in. So there's 14 teams. That's $98 million on $700 million. That is, let me do some quick math. Because I didn't do the math, but I know it's not enough. That is 98 million, a couple more zeros, divided by 700 million. That's 14%. At this time in the NBA's career, at this many years when they were making this much revenue, NBA players were making 33 to 35% revenue share, which peaked at 55 and has since dropped to 50, slowly creeping up to 53. 14% is a horrible deal. Period. Point blank. Done. Sorry, they got robbed.
Is it like progressive?
They got robbed on the TV deal. The salary cap is for the year one is $7 million per team.
Well, it'll go up once the new team.
It went up 7 times. It went up 7 times. Yeah, because you were robbing them before that. So that's all. No problem. I just wanted to put it out there. That's 8:35. I'll shut up. That's my rant. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, sir.
Jalen, you were first on, so you get to pick the first topic of the night.
Now, does it have to be basketball? I don't know if I want to remix it real quick.
No,
Hey,
no,
remix it real quick. We're going back to some classic TV shows of the 90s and the 2000s. We debated these days, so Chilltown and Fluent, we're gonna test their pop culture. I guess.
I hope I watched this show.
Yeah, I think everyone's watched these shows. We're gonna do Seinfeld versus Friends, two big time shows. I'm gonna give Chilltown Seinfeld. Fluent's gonna give Friends. Yeah, y'all gonna debate it up. We're gonna go. Fluent can go first. Do your thing.
What if Fluent piss you off? What if Fluent did piss you off, Jalen?
You know what, Tone? I'll tell you what, Tone. You take Seinfeld, and I'll take Friends. No problem.
That's cool. If you guys are fans, I'm cool with that.
Because you seem to want Seinfeld. You think you can make a better argument for Friends? I mean, for Seinfeld.
I hated Friends, so absolutely I can make a better argument. So absolutely. Seinfeld not only is the better of the two shows, Seinfeld might be the greatest show in history of television comedies. And here's why. Not only did we get a classic show from one of the best comedians of all time in Jerry Seinfeld, but you had iconic characters that almost to a fault have hurt the actors because everybody sees Elaine as Elaine now. They don't know who she is. Kramer. Does anyone even know his real name? No, it's Kramer, and they love Kramer. George Costanza, Jason Alexander, a known actor from stage, like he was in plays and movies and he did a McDonald's commercial where he was dancing. He was in Pretty Woman. He's Richard Gere's best friend. No one remembers that. They remember Jason Alexander as George Costanza. Ask anyone when they say, do you say Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah? And they go, I say Festivus for the rest of us. Iconic characters, iconic comedy, episodes that we all remember. The Bet. All I have to say is the bet, and everyone puts their head down. Oh my God, yeah, that's the time that they made a bet on who could go the longest without masturbating. There's like literally shows that. See, exactly.
That's funny. I'm sorry. That is funny, Toad. I'm sorry. Keep going.
It is funny. That makes you laugh. When we found out Cosmo Kramer, his real first name was Cosmo. Cosmo goes to LA and he is in a murder. Like you can remember all these incredible episodes that made all of them stars. And then, I don't know how much time I have left. And then to go on top of all of that, you had iconic guest stars. You had Terry Hatcher coming in. Yes, they're real and they're fantastic, right? You had all these stars that actually weren't even stars yet, and then they kind of blew up just from that being the stepping stone for their careers. That show not only had iconic episodes, iconic characters, it had lines that we still use today. How many people don't get their first bowl of soup and are like, no soup for you because of the soup nut? Literally, you can't, even if you never watched the show, their iconic lines. I haven't even touched on Newman. You're like Newman. Like they even did a Bizarro World where they had an opposite Jerry, an opposite Kramer, an opposite George and Kramer. Like it's so iconic. It's everything kind of pulled from there, and it's all from the mind of Larry David, who literally started another show, Curb Your Enthusiasm, off the success of Seinfeld.
It's interesting. That tone. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get my composure.
We're still laughing at it. It's so good.
No, the reason why is because I used to date a girl, and it was off the theme of Seinfeld. When Seinfeld used to say to Newman, "Hello, Newman," and I used to say to my girl at the time, her name was Deborah, "Hello, Deborah," and that's where I got that from. I got that from Seinfeld. However, when you're talking iconic, the first thing that I'm thinking about is Friends having all of these people who became megastars because of Friends. Let's start there. Jennifer Aniston, Phoebe, not just Jennifer Aniston and Phoebe. My favorite, not Joey, but Chandler, who he's no longer with us, but Ross. All of these people, they seem to be people that you know. right? They seem to be people that you know. They seem to be people that you either grew up with or work with or are familiar with. And with you being familiar with these people, you tune in every day because part of that is your life, because you got friends like that. You know somebody that's Ross. You actually have one of your buddies is Joey. You know, the dude that he always get all the chicks and like he always knows where all the hot spots is. He's the guy. Joey is the guy in your group that, to your point, Jalen's trying to get a record deal, and I just so happen to know Clive Davis. Wait a minute, what? You know Clive Davis and you ain't saying nothing to none of us? That's Joey. Like that's who Joey is. And you got somebody in your friend group that's like that. And I say that to say every week, to your point, Tone, you're talking about things being iconic. There was always something iconic and there was great special guests. I don't know if you remember this, Tone. Brad Pitt was on Friends. Not only was Brad Pitt on Friends, but if I remember correctly, why am I drawing a blank on his name? But there was some iconic people, but I vividly remember Brad Pitt. And I remember the iconic episode of Joey with Joey. Was it Joey? No. Yeah, Joey with the tailor who was sexually assaulting him. And he goes, you put your pants up, you move it, and then you measure. And he goes, isn't that how they do it? Yes, that is how they do it. In prison, what's wrong with you, Joey? What's going on? So, I mean, when you're talking about iconic shows, I think about longevity. Friends was on TV for over, I think it was over 10 years. Not only was it on TV for over 10 years, it was a staple on NBC. All of these people went on to do great things. I mean, Monica ended up being in the Scream sequels. She became a big deal. Jennifer Aniston became a big movie star. All of these people did that off the strength of Friends, which was still going on when they were filming this, even when they were filming this stuff. So, I mean, Friends was absolutely fantastic. And the great thing about it was these people are people that I feel like they're people that I feel like people can relate to. That's why I think it was a great show. And it was always a storyline that made sense.
The storyline actually never made sense. Absolutely never made sense. So think about it. A brother and sister moved to New York and live in these massive apartments that neither one of them could afford. Well, maybe Ross could because he was a paleontologist, but Monica is a waitress, can't afford that. She moves into an apartment with a girl she hated in high school, who she met at a coffee shop on the day of her wedding because she left her fiance at the altar. No, that's not believable. That apartment costs about $8,000 a month in New York. There's no way they could afford that. Whereas Jerry Seinfeld, a successful comedian, was living in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath closet of an apartment. That's believable. Poor George Costanza couldn't afford anything because he was always out of work. Where did he live? With his insane parents. So not only were the core actors of Seinfeld, Kramer, Elaine, funnier, those four funnier than the 6 friends. The supporting cast members like Newman, the soup Nazi, the maestro, his parents alone, you could go watch Jerry Stiller and just laugh for half an hour as is. So it was realistic because you had friends that were living real lives, struggling with real issues of money, whereas you had these other yuppie kids who never had any issues living in an apartment that was way out of their means and then going on trips. Phoebe, we still don't even know what Phoebe does unless she was taking money from her twin sister's porn career. Like it was Friends was good. Seinfeld was great. If we eliminate Friends from the history books, no one will miss it. Because let's be honest, all they did was steal line from line, scene from scene from Living Single. That's all they did. They stole from Living Single and ripped it off. And it was a travesty what they did to Queen Latifah and Friends. Poor Rudy from Facts of Life, what they did with Living Single, stealing all their ideas. Seinfeld, however, was about Jerry Seinfeld. His parents. I didn't bring up his parents and going to Florida and dealing with all of that stuff, buying his dad a Cadillac and the underwater pen. Like, I could go on for an hour, but my time is up.
So 2 things. Number one, to talk about something being believable, you have to have a storyline to make it believable. They actually had stuff that was in it that was believable. So you got friends, and amongst the group of friends, you got 2 people that end up falling in love and they have a baby. That is believable. Tone is also trying to sell us that these apartments are $8,000. In 1994, that little ass apartment is not no $18,000. That's not no $8,000. That's number 1. Now, that's number 2. Number 3, the Seinfeld sitcom was in Larry David's and Larry, is it David Larry or Larry David? I'm sorry. Larry David, in his own words, the show was about nothing. There was no storyline. That's all the show was about. It was about nothing. There was never any storyline. It was a story of, you know what? I randomly ran into Michael Jordan, and I'm a comedian, and we ended up going to get a burger. Like, give me a break. How often does that happen? Like, I'm gonna run into Jason Tatum in a grocery store, and we're gonna go to dinner. No, that's not gonna happen. However, in Friends, the stuff that's actually going on, which Joey, who is a struggling actor, living with his roommate, who's actually trying to get by, that's actually a storyline. 100% that is. Phoebe, who works in Phoebe, who's in a coffee shop, and in addition to Phoebe being in a coffee shop, with her friends talking about life. There's nobody living in an $8,000 apartment today, but we have plenty of friends, by the way, that are living way beyond their means. That is so realistic in New York City. Not just in Los Angeles.
Could not afford to live in a shoebox. He had 6 ex-wives. You know how much alimony that dude was paying? Stop it.
I like this one. This is one of the ones right here. Two iconic shows.
Well played, Jalen. Well played.
That was a good one.
That was fun.
All right,
I enjoyed that one.
that was a good one. I mean, both made great points.
The episode and he couldn't hold himself together.
I was trying to hold it together, Tony. When you said that, I couldn't.
Oh man,
that was great. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
As for a winner, I'm just gonna say I'm like 100% probably biased, is because I love Friends. I think Friends is the greatest thing ever. Like you said, the Ross Rachel connection, Chandler, Monica, Joey, his character, thought it was great. Both made great points. I thought the strongest points were, Fluent saying they basically ripped off Living Color or copied a lot of it. That's Living Single. Living Single. Yeah, everyone kind of knows that too. But Children of Butter, when you said that,
what a good show that was.
100%. But Children of Butter Love, what is relatable, is everything that happened to Friends versus a show about nothing, which I still don't get how Seinfeld is so popular too. A show about nothing.
That's everyday life.
About nothing.
You don't go every day with a story with a
plot. It comes down to both did great. Comes down to 2. I'm going with Joe. Maybe it's a personal bias. I can't be mad, but I do think that the comeback was just too strong. Friends absolutely clears though. It's hilarious though. It's hilarious. Friends,
picking his favorite versus what? Yeah, boo.
Be like that. It'd be like
well, I'm going to tell you right now. If that's what we're doing, then clearly we're going to be consistent, and I'm going to go with Seinfeld and Sports Fluent. And I think he made a lot of great arguments. He told you about the iconic episodes, told us about all the iconic characters, told us about all the lines that still are in the the zeitgeist, despite the fact that show hasn't been on in forever. So yeah, and just to even the odds and put Chris in a tough position, I'm going to choose Fluent and Seinfeld.
You know what that makes you, Ori? That makes you sponge worthy, buddy. Yes.
All right. See, look at this. This guy's got the references for days.
Yours lobster, Ori. Yours lobster.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm a fan of both shows. I definitely lean more than lean Seinfeld for sure. Both of you made great points. However, the first thing I need you to address, Fluents. They're real and they're spectacular, not fantastic. You said that they're spectacular.
Oh,
right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Get it right.
So
get it right.
And they did it again. Remember in the last episode in the courtroom when the lawyer.
Yeah. But towards the beginning, I probably would have gone Fluent because he was listing off all the great cases. But I definitely think that Chill had the better closing line, like as far as it goes for like connecting the what do you call it? It's the
storylines, dots within the plot.
Like connecting to real life, and I especially think that's today. Like like I think that my generation definitely appreciates Friends more, and I think that it's aged a little better, even though I like Seinfeld better. So I will give this one to Chill, even though both I heard arguments from both.
And that's a good point too, because with my generation, everyone younger, like Friends is clear. Like Seinfeld isn't as loved for whatever reason. Friends seem to have aged really well. Where I have like my 14-year-old cousins who love Friends, right? And they.
That doesn't mean he was better at debating. That means you like the show better.
No, but what I'm saying, it seems for some reason. Do you agree though that like Friends has crossed generations now? It just seems like maybe because it was on Netflix first. I just see more people, especially younger now, my generation, watch Friends or relate to Friends.
I think Seinfeld is more loved by old white people, and Friends is liked by more young white people. That's it.
Okay, old versus
That
young.
what
Yeah.
you call it. That line that you said, Tone, because I don't know if you remember when I was in the PCL when I had to argue for France. I didn't believe a word of what I was saying, but I was like, I'm gonna sell it. Just so we clear, I was not a fan of Friends because it was a ripoff.
Mhm.
It was a ripoff.
That's why that reference alone.
It was, and that was a body. When you said that, Tone, that was a body shot. I was like, fuck. That was 100%. But I was like, I want to test my skills to see if I can sell. I want to see if I could sell Friends because I did watch Friends. 100% I watched Friends. So, but Living Single was Friends before Friends, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think Friends were built off Living Single.
Living
A
Single
ripoff
was-
is strong though. You know,
Yeah.
like they use that built on it.
Living Single was Friends before Friends. They completely stole the idea from them.
90s
and they
kind of
just expanded.
world.
Yes, 100% it was. But I definitely watched Living Single, and it's interesting, Tone, that with Living Single, you didn't not Living Single. But it's interesting that with Living Single, they basically bit almost the whole style because they had guest star like Grant Hill was on Living Single, Naughty by Nature was on Living Single. Like they had all the cultural icons.
The dumb dude, right? Was Joey. Remember the handyman? Then they had the girl version, which was Phoebe. Like then they had the businessman who they hated each other.
Kyle.
Kyle and not Khadijah, Regina, Maxine. Yeah, Kyle and Maxine, and then Khadijah. Like they had everything. But whatever. It's all good.
Hey, fun fact: Jerry Seinfeld turned down. He was asked to come back to do another season. They offered him $5 million an episode.
He was like, "No, I'm good."
He's like, "No, $5 million an episode. The most right now anyone getting paid is like $2 million." Yeah, that's wild. Good for you, Jerry. Turned down $5 million. I know he owned part of the show though, so he's
the reason. That's probably why too, Jalen. One because he owned the show, and when it goes into syndication, that's a check that never stops. And on top of that, unlike the Golden State Warriors in 22, he knew when to get out. He was like, you know what? That's it. Let's bounce. This is the time to bounce. So let's bounce right now because I don't want to water this down and make this whacker. Nah.
What do you want to see? You want to see the Warriors just drop out of the NBA season and say, forget it, we're not gonna play any more games?
Why are they on my TV, Tone?
Well,
get these dudes off my TV.
That's not their fault.
Yes, it is.
Whose fault is it? They're not putting themselves on TV.
That's the problem. Okay, and that's the NBA's fault too. The
NBA
who can 100% because Tone, you being up in Toronto, when Vince Carter started to blow up like popcorn, right? What ended up happening? Games started getting flexed.
Games, yes.
Games started getting flexed. Next thing 100%. I know, Vince Carter is on prime time on Sunday at 1:00. Right? Vince Carter is on Thursday at 7:00 on TNN on TNT. Now all of a sudden he's on TV all the time. So we can do the flip side to that. The Warriors are garbage. Get them off the TV.
100%. I agree. 100%.
They got Guy Santos.
Let's take 5 seconds to regroup and let Ori get a second to pick his topic. We'll be right back.
Sports fans, Chill here. And I'm Fluent. We're bringing you all the Sports Fluent merch you need. Tees, hoodies, hats, mugs, gear made for the conversation. Just hit sportsfluent.com/merch.
Or the QR code in the top right corner. Are you ready?
All right, let's do it. I am bringing us back to the NBA, despite the fact that first question was fire. Jalen, shout out. That was fun. But the NBA season is getting closer and closer to the end, closer to the playoffs. We've had two teams, in my opinion, rise up that I think people aren't sure about because people think they maybe aren't quite ready yet. Those two teams being the Detroit Pistons and the San Antonio Spurs. I want Chilltown to argue for San Antonio, and I want Fluent to argue for Detroit as to who is closer to being an actual contender.
Well, the thing I think about when I think about a team being good in the regular season, I watch their offense, I watch their defense, and I look at their individual players to see if the stuff that they do, does this translate to the playoffs? Even if not everything translates, does this stuff translate to the playoffs? And when I watch Wemby, just Wemby in particular, I'll talk about Devin Vassell, I'll talk about Keldon Johnson in a minute. But when I watch Wemby, the stuff that he does translates to the playoffs because why? Him being a big guy his ability to run to the rim, those are easy buckets. No matter how much you game plan, you can't game plan for a 7.5-foot dude running to the rim getting lobs. You can't game plan for that. You don't have enough personnel in the Western Conference to stop that, slow that down. What I mean when I say in terms of moving forward into the playoffs, defense and blocking shots. Wemby does that stuff. That stuff translates to the playoffs. I can appreciate the physicality from the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons actually tried to rough Wemby up. In the process of them roughing him up with Jalen Duren, he had almost a 20-20 game, and that was considered a bad game, right? So the stuff that he does in the regular season, that stuff translates to the playoffs, which helps San Antonio because they rely on him so much. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league when he's on the floor. Now you add guys like Devin Vassell, who when Wemby's smacking the ball against the glass and we're running, he's getting transition buckets, cracking the long ball. Keldon Johnson is another guy who they're going to win games in the margins because you have dirty work, meat and potatoes guys. But now I got a floor general who I do have guys who have playoff experience in the San Antonio team. So I got De'Aaron Fox, who's one of my favorite league guards. I've actually argued that he's a top 5 league guard in the game. He's got a money mid-range game, one of the best paint touches and one of the best rim finishers in the game. He gets to the rim. That stuff translates to the playoffs because I've seen it translate to the playoffs. Harrison Barnes has actual championship experience, and he can knock down open shots, and he can give guys the wisdom and help them defend and all of that good stuff. Then I got young guys like Stephon Castle, who also can defend at a high level. We're actually talking about him being an all-league defender. I'm not sure that he's going to be an all-league defender, but this is the stuff that I'm thinking about that translates to the playoffs. Can these guys go deep in the playoffs doing this stuff? Yes. Now, can we have these guys stay healthy? Yes, we can. I can hope that they stay healthy because, again, we do need some things to go our way. With the exception of Wemby having some injury history, the majority of these guys have been healthy throughout the course of the season, which would explain why they're at the top of the league, which would also explain why the stuff that they do, it can translate to the playoffs.
So which team is going to have more playoff success sounded like the question, and which are like legit contenders. So when you say legit contenders, that's what we're talking about. So you have a team in the Detroit Pistons that has everything that you need to be a championship team in the NBA. Go back and look as far as you want to go with one or two exceptions. They typically had a lead scorer who is either a superstar, verge of a superstar kind of person. They have that in Cade Cunningham. 20-plus points per game, can run the team, does everything you want from him. Yes, because some people might not be playing enough games.
Oh, boy.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like kids fighting.
Going on. Threw me right off. A guy who's in the MVP conversation, and not just because some players aren't going to make it in terms of games. So you have your MVP caliber player. Do you have shooting around him? Well, yeah, you have Duncan Robinson, you have Tobias Harris, a veteran as well. So you have veterans, you have shooting. So you got your main guy, your MVP candidate. You've got shooting. Do they have toughness? Oh, yeah, they've got toughness. They've got Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart, who I know suspended, but will be back for the playoffs. So they have toughness. So then athleticism, Thompson. So, and they're deep. The team has 6 guys who are averaging more than double digits per game. So you don't know where it's coming from. So you have a team that has scoring, that has shooting, that has defense, that has toughness. Those are the things you're going to need in the playoffs, because when things start to slow down, right, you have a guy who can take control in the last 2 minutes. Yes, you do. His name is Cade Cunningham. Do you have now, the other part about being a tender is, are you in a conference that is winnable? Well, yeah, because with the exception of now Boston, none of these other teams really have that they're going to face playoff success, championship success. Who are the teams they're going to face if you look at the standings in the first rounds? Atlanta, not worried about them. Even Cleveland and New York, although good teams, well, they haven't proved that they were tough enough or had the ability to kind of take that next step. So there's opportunity, which also, so you have a team that has everything you want offensively, defensively, leadership, shooting, scoring, all of that stuff. Plus they're in a conference that there's really only one team that has championship experience, and their best or second best player, depending on what you want to call Tatum, okay, is coming off a really bad injury. So will he be himself 100%? We're not sure. We want to make sure that he's healthy. We hope for all of that stuff. Then when you compare that to the Spurs are very, very young. In fact, Chill, who's now trying to cap for Wemby, would tell you it's too early. Stop throwing all this stuff on him yet. He's not there yet. He's 2 years away. He's not that guy yet. So you're throwing him into a mix with an inexperienced team. He talked about veterans like Fox. Fox has never done it. Has he even been in the playoffs? I don't know, because he played for the Kings, probably not that much, maybe once. Okay, and now they're in a conference where they got to play teams like the Lakers, who are now finding their way, the Nuggets, who are champions, the Thunder, who are champions. You got KD and the Rockets. So now they've got to go through the gambit of tougher teams. Even a team like Phoenix, who they might face in the first round, is very, very tough defensively, which they'll get by them, but it's going to be tough. So now you have all these experienced championship teams that you have to go through as well. Sorry, I saw the finger doing this. So
interesting, Tone, that you bring up De'Aaron Fox. Has he ever been to the playoffs? So he's a broken hand away from them bouncing the Warriors in 23 when they ended up winning the NBA championship that year that they won the NBA championship. He's a broken hand away from. They took him to Game 7. That was the first time that they had been in the playoffs in 17 years. And he was actually, I believe he if he didn't win Clutch Player of the Year that year, he was close to being Clutch Player of the Year. So second, your point about Wemby being too young. I don't know if you noticed, Tone, but the Oklahoma City Thunder last season, they're the youngest team since the Portland Trail Blazers in 1977 to win the NBA championship. So the experience thing clearly doesn't matter as much as I used to think it does. And the reason why is because this is a very young league. That's number 2. Number 3, Chris, I don't know if you noticed, Chris, but last season against the New York Knicks, Cade Cunningham shot 17% at the long ball line, and he shot under 40% at the rim. Now, this is the guy that I'm relying on. This is the guy that I'm relying on to score the basketball for them. Now, with that being said, that's the stuff that I'm relying on. What would I rely on more? Would I rely on Cade Cunningham to be better offensively, or would I rely more on Wemby to spark us defensively so we could turn our offense into defense? I think I'm going to go with the big guy, and I think that he's going to be able to spark us more.
You know, it's interesting because you brought up defense, and defense in this NBA with these young guys. Let's not pretend like Detroit's not a young team. They're absolutely a young team, although they have a veteran to help. But we talk about defense because defense wins championships. You all hear that. And the Spurs, amazing, 3rd rated defensive team, defensive rating. They're 3rd in the NBA. That's phenomenal. You know who's better? The Detroit Pistons, because they're 2nd. So team defensively, yes, they have Wemby. They have the best defender, but the Pistons are a better defensive team. And so the team that will lock down their opponents, and again, I'm going to go back to it because it's super, super important, because that's why you're trying to divert away from it. That's why you didn't talk about it at all, is the path to success. Because we didn't say to the finals. We said who's going to go deeper. Pistons will still have an easier road going through the Atlantas and the Torontos and those, and even the Knicks and the Cavs, right? Like, one series doesn't kill it. He's shooting 35% from 3 this year. So it's that path is just easier. The Spurs could get knocked out first round if they get a bad matchup against a Lakers team or a Denver team. The East doesn't have that championship pedigree, so their road is easier.
That's wow.
A lot of good points.
Yeah. I don't know, guys.
I think I do think the Spurs are the better team, and I think Chill made a good argument for that with the players they have on the team. You know, with the Harpers, Fox, Stephen Cass on that team playing well, and Wemby just being Wemby. I do think Fluent had the strongest argument of, you know, the question was who's going to make it further in the playoffs. And I think being in the West versus East is just such a different ball game, right? Detroit in the East with guys like Cade, Jalen Durant, Thompson, Duncan Robinson, just the Pats at East. Like, the only team that if I was them, I'd really be scared of is Boston. After that, everyone else, I'm walking in there confident with the squad I got over there. So I think that probably just edges it, because I think both guys just, you know, said the strength of the team, what each player can do, what they bring to the table. But the strength of that argument, I think, just holds a little stronger. The Detroit being East, so we'll give it to Fluent.
Just I appreciate you. Thank you. Why are you arguing with the chat?
Hey, get it in the chat.
Chris?
Yeah, definitely great. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah, but definitely good points on both sides for sure. You both broke down the team really well. For the Spurs, bringing up the fact that they have just like they check a lot of the boxes with defense, and with Harrison Barnes being their one veteran who has championship experience. However, we did see in the comment section, Luke Cornett also has championship experience as well. For the Pistons side of it, yes, they're obviously a young team and everything. One thing I'll pick apart, and I think I'll disagree with everyone on the panel here, except for maybe Ori. I think that the East I think the gap between the East and the West is far smaller than people think. It may be top heavy a little better for the West. So yes, so maybe that does help Fluent's argument for sure. Again, very, very close, but I will go Fluent here just because at the end of the day, well, he's mentioning that yes, the East does have Boston, but however, I do think that OKC is a level above everyone else in the league now.
1-2, right? Detroit, Boston are 1-2 right now, so they wouldn't have to face them until the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah,
Right.
I now that it's already 2-0, so I can say this. Like, I think the Spurs are probably better too, except I think they're gonna have to beat better teams. Although, yeah, the East. Listen, he's convinced me that the East isn't as bad.
They match up really well against OKC. Like, if I'm picking any team to beat OKC, I think the Spurs. I just think position by position, they just match up so well with them. But I don't know if you guys noticed it. Castle's been insane. Castle's been playing ridiculous lately.
He's been great.
If we get Spurs Pistons final, do we both win?
Yeah.
I think we.
Was that like the most boring finals ever back in the day? That's what everyone claimed. But I think this one would be a little more exciting for people.
Yeah, but this one you got Wemby. No, this one would be good. Yeah, well, I'll tell you firsthand. I'm in Detroit this weekend. I'm going to watch them play. So I'll tell you. I love one.
The Durant versus Wemby matchup would be interesting.
Yeah.
So Ori, just for
just to keep it going, it's Detroit. We'll go with Fluent for
Thank you.
Yeah.
So at this point, we will open it up to the chat. We have a third topic, but if you have a topic, I'm going to put out the link, I think. Possibly. Yes? No? Anyone? Objections? Comments? Questions? If I can do it. There we go. I'll put the link in the chat. If you want to debate all of us, one of us, you want all of us to team up on one of them. Like, you literally, if you come in, you can pick Ori versus the four of us and you, or whatever. Like, literally, you can make up whatever rules you want. Just go into the private chat, say, this is my topic, this is who's debating it. You can pick two of us, you pick 2 against 2, whatever you want. Ori, it is your topic.
My
bad. Chris, it's your topic.
Yeah.
All right. So I figured with this time of year that I would bring up a college basketball question. And if I'm being honest, I don't really.
Sorry, Chris. Time out. I'm so sorry. We always stop for super chats. We always
shout
stop
out Baba G Cup.
We always stop for super chats. Martin versus Fresh Prince. You know what? Well, that'll be our bonus round. G Cuts, you tell us who's gonna debate what.
I haven't fully watched Martin, so I couldn't really.
What?
I've never fully watched Martin. I stopped season two for Martin. I just haven't fully watched Martin yet.
Season 2?
Yeah, I just haven't fully watched Martin yet. It just never. Fresh Prince, yes, not Martin. I haven't.
Okay, that's gonna be our bonus round, Chris. I apologize for the interruption. Go ahead, sir.
No worries. Yeah. So I'm debating whether or not this is gonna be a good topic for you guys, but obviously, you guys can debate anything. But I'm gonna go with
topic or not.
Okay. Oh, you know what I'm just gonna say. So I'm just gonna go with college basketball coming around. I'm gonna ask the question: which college program has put together better NBA players of the 21st century, Duke or Kentucky? I guess I'll go Fluent Duke and then chill Kentucky.
You know what? Why don't you? I got Duke.
Yeah. If you guys want to flip,
I got Duke. No. I got Duke. That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Snap back to reality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shout out my Dukies. You know, I'm a Duke dude. I'm a Duke man.
I'm gonna allow Jalen to rep his university. Go ahead, Jalen.
So you said 21st century, right? Maybe 21st century from 2000.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, 2009. All right. Duke University, led by the greatest coach of all time, professional or college, Coach Krzyzewski. I mean, he's coached NBA players galore. We're going to start off with Kyrie Irving, maybe the most talented NBA player over the past couple of decades. Ball handling, shot making, shooting, absolutely phenomenal. Did his thing. Star-studded player. Then we got the new guys coming right now too. Jason Tatum, in the conversations, best player in the league talk, just coming off of an injury that could have ended his career, but came back in less than a year and looking like he's going to lead your Boston Celtics, guys, to a championship. And I don't know, Chilltown loves himself some Jason Tatum, so he's doing this thing over there. Then we got the boys. Look, Zion Williamson, he's been a little injury prone, but when he's on the court, we understand what he can do. RJ Barrett for the Toronto Raptors can give you 20 any given night, doing this thing. Then we even got role players who do their thing and do the little thing. The guy like Grayson Allen, right? Star at Duke, in the mold of kind of a Duke guy, what we love over there, right? A little bit edgy, a little bit dirty, but big buckets, playmaking, passing, doing it all. Grayson Allen, another phenomenal player. How can I forget one of the greatest basketball players of all time, JJ Redick? He's coaching right now, doing his thing. Couldn't lead the Lakers to a championship, but in the league, he came a little early to the league too with his 3-point shooting. But when he joined the Clippers, he was giving them 18 a night, 3-point shooting maestro over there with JJ Redick. I mean, look, Duke is just filling. Kyle Singler, another guy that's a little forgotten. Kyle Singler on OKC. Good role player, doing the little things. Duke gives you stars. It gives you role players. It gives you every kind of player you need. Because you know why? Coach K teaches them how to play basketball the right way. And let me throw in another name, Paolo Banchero. Learned from the best, coming into the league. He's gonna look. We're talking about a guy who's gonna make future All-NBA teams, future All-Star teams. Right now, giving you 20 plus every given night for Orlando, one of the up-and-coming teams in the NBA. It doesn't stop. And again, a guy who does something different. You get a guy like JJ Redick and Paulo. Paulo a little more physical, can grind it out, get you some buckets. JJ Redick, the shooter from the outside. Coach K can coach both ways. He doesn't have one type of player that maybe a guy like other coaches in Kentucky do, like Coach Calipari. Stylistically, some players are a little too similar. But Duke and Coach K, he teaches a variety of different players. How much more time do I got?
40 seconds.
Oh, 40 seconds. Keep going. Oh, guess what? Who else? I'm trying to think about other Duke guys. Duke guys that are really cooking up. Marvin Bagley came into the league. Again, a guy, not a star player, but again, we'll do the little thing. Get you a double-double when your main guy's hurt, right? It's not all about the star players in the NBA. It's about guys playing their role, doing their thing. Marvin Bagley, another talented guy who came into the NBA, giving good bench minutes, doing this thing. I'm trying keep going.
Yeah, your time's up.
There you go. Okay.
So when I think about being a great college basketball coach, or when I think about getting to the goal, I think about how not just transparent, but I think about how good you can be in terms of getting your guys to the next level. So Mike Krzyzewski was able to coach for 10 more years, unlike Bobby Knight, unlike all of these other guys who were dinosaurs, because he adopted the one and done philosophy. And where did he get that from? He got it from John Calipari, because John Calipari was the one who was sitting in these kids' living room and going, you're not going to be living here next year. You're not going to be living here in 2 years. You're going to be in the NBA. And I'm going to make sure that happens. And how did he make sure that happens? He made sure that happened by actually turning those guys loose. He had, I don't know if you know this, Jalen, but John Calipari, from 2009 to 2023, he had 12 guys in the NBA who scored 50 or more. They played at Kentucky. All right, those guys played at Kentucky. I can't say that with 100% certainty with Duke. On top of that, I'm thinking about the all-pros that also went to Kentucky. So I'm thinking about the all-stars who went to Kentucky. I'm thinking about the NBA champions who went to Kentucky. I'm thinking about the all-league defenders that went to Kentucky. I mean, we can run down a gauntlet of guys. I mean, Boogie Cousins went to Kentucky. Anthony Davis went to Kentucky. Devin Booker went to Kentucky. De'Aaron Fox went to Kentucky. Tyrese Maxey went to Kentucky. The league MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, went to Kentucky. So, I mean, we can run down a number of different guys, and all of these guys, Bam Adebayo, who just scored 83 points, went to Kentucky. Tyler Hero went to Kentucky. And all of these guys went to Kentucky for one reason and one reason only. They went there because John Calipari is selling the idea of your dream coming true. And the reason why your dream is coming true is because I believe in you. And I know for a fact that this isn't just about me. John Calipari sold me on being one of the best college basketball coaches and getting his guys to the next level, when he said after they lost to Fairleigh Dickinson in the NIT, where he said next season it's going to be great Next season is going to be great because it's going to be about great competition. That tells me that there's nobody in here who absolutely has a spot. That means that all of you McDonald's All-Americans and all of you dudes, you got to come in here and earn it. And Anthony Davis earned it. Devin Booker earned it. Jamal Murray earned it. All of these guys, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they earned it, right? All of these guys ended up becoming great players. And in addition to who you just talked about, we're talking about rotation players. Jay, I don't know if you know this, but Keldon Johnson also a rotation player from San Antonio. He went to Kentucky. So, I mean, it's a number of different guys who are actually really good and that played for Kentucky, who actually took a back seat and ended up coming to the next level and were great. So John Calipari was fantastic at that.
Now, look, Kentucky has a lot of players that make the NBA who made all-star team without them. But you know the key difference here? Duke took guys who weren't necessarily NBA talent and made them NBA talented guys. Kentucky would just get the top 5, top 10 players, stock them up. So we're talking guys like Chris Duhon, Mike Dunleavy Jr. These guys probably wouldn't make the NBA if they're going to other colleges. Even a guy like Shane Battier really honed his skills under Coach K. A guy like Quinn Cook, a guy, if he got to another college, would have been lost, but came into the NBA, played a decent 5-6 years in the NBA, was a good point guard. So I think the key difference here, look, a lot of college programs are going to send the top picks to the NBA, right? A top 10, top 20 high school guy, they're going to make the NBA. But Duke and Coach K, again, guys like Mason Plumlee, Miles Plumlee, if they go to any other college in the world, they're not making the NBA. But with Duke, Coach K takes guys who are marginal players, elevates them to the NBA, and makes some of them even champions, baby. Kyrie Irving, big shot. And let's not forget, the great white hope, the next star, Cooper Flag, baby. Cooper Flag, the next one. Coach, I mean, that wasn't even under Coach K, but Duke doing this thing. Even without Coach K, they're still doing their thing. Cooper Flag, the next big thing, going to be the future guy. Even today, you can argue say already a top 20 player.
Ori, can you tell everybody here where Cooper Flag was ranked when he went to Duke?
That was one. That's Cooper. I guess Cooper. I guess Cooper.
He's the best player in the country.
Yeah, that's Cooper.
Chris, can you tell everybody when Zion Williamson went to Duke where he was in terms of the rankings? He was the best player in the country. Can you tell everybody when Kyrie Irving came to Duke? Can you tell everybody where he was in terms of point guards? He was the best point guard in the country. I can honestly tell you guys that I had no idea who Tyler Hero was. I don't have a clue who Tyler Hero is. I had no idea who Bam Adebayo was. None whatsoever. In fact, Bam actually told us when he got to Kentucky, I was a defender and a rebounder. I was not one of those guys who was fantastic at doing everything. No, I wasn't. However, you know who was fantastic at doing everything? Jason Tatum. That's why he was a top 5 player when he got to Duke. Jason Tatum was not a marginal player when he came to Duke. Let's not sit here and act like Duke is basically taking on pro bono cases. No, they get the cream of the crop over here. Let's not make it look like Duke is just getting good players. No, they're absolutely getting great players. So no, we're not going to do that. Absolutely not.
Ori, let's start with you.
All right. I think you guys really brought it. The flip. I love the flips. But that's such a fun piece of this whole thing. But I am going to lead with Chilltown this time around.
Get robbed.
I think Jalen did a great job, though. It was Chilltown this time.
Chris.
Yeah. So yeah, both you made good points, but I was very, very impressed with your ability to just list off players on the fly. With like all the players that went there. I think my biggest gripe with Jalen was I guess I'll give 2 of them. So one of them, when you listed off Marvin Bagley as one of the NBA players, Marvin Bagley is trash. I think he's one of the worst.
I know he's trash. I know he's trash. I know he's not that good. I just have to sell it. You know?
That was big. And you forgot to mention. And you forgot to mention Cherokee Parks. So that's
No, this is 21st century. This
90s. 90s.
Yeah, I could have mentioned the Grand Hills of the world.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So and if I'm being honest, like towards the beginning, when Chill was giving his argument for like what Kyle Perry did, I was nervous that he wasn't going to provide any actual players, but then he listed all them off. So both of you had your strengths and weaknesses for sure, but this one goes to Chill.
Anticlimactic. I was hoping you were going to pick Jalen because it's interesting. Because as you guys were talking, listen, I'm biased, right? Like I did my summer basketball camps at the University of Kentucky, right? Like with his old teammate Roderick Rhodes and my friend Tony Delk. Like I have a soft spot for Kentucky. Even Rick Pitino, who went to coach my favorite team in Greece, Olympiacos, like I had, like there's a connection there. But I was leaning towards you, Jalen. I was giving you it like you had on my sheet. You have the check mark, check, and then you went and you gave him an opportunity because you said Kentucky gets all these top 5 players, almost like unlike Duke. And then he turned that on you and went, and that's when it flipped. And that's why he got it for me. It's because he took your argument and literally smacked you in the head with
I should have said it from like the time, like, because from like 2000 to like 2012. Duke was known as the school. They never got the top guys, 4-year guys.
In a debate, you got to be careful. And you gave him ammo, and he did not hesitate to use it. So there was another point where I was like, I think you guys missed something, and I forgot it now. But that was the deciding factor for me, because I don't think I could have named all those players off like that. So you both did.
It's funny though, but Childs didn't even mention Karl Anthony Towns.
Anthony Davis. Look, the right answer is Kentucky. Like Kentucky for NBA products. Kentucky's ridiculous. Like it's just
absolutely
their era with
it's definitely 1 and 2 for sure. Yeah, that's why I thought it'd be an interesting. It went better than I thought, so I'm happy. I'm happy that happened.
That was a great question. That was a great question.
All right, so the super chat was, so let's do this collectively. Martin versus Fresh Prince. I'm just gonna go what we're gonna do for it. We're not gonna do like a debate style so much because of time thing, but like Ori, I'm gonna let you pick Martin or Fresh Prince.
I'm gonna pick Fresh Prince.
One reason why.
Well, I think Will Smith is a little more charismatic than Martin Lawrence, to be honest.
Okay. Jalen.
Okay, I didn't watch full of Martin yet. I've only got to season 2 of Martin, but
I don't know how you're watching it now, 20 years later, but okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just never got
30 years later.
Yeah.
By the way,
I think two different guys.
Listen, guys, just so I put it out there. 30 years ago to me was 1970. So just you got
no. All right, Grandpa. Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna lead Fresh Prince here because I think it's
well, Fresh Prince because you never watched Martin.
Yeah,
okay.
I know more about it.
Chris.
I've literally never watched an episode of Martin, so
you've never watched it.
Hey.
It's Martin. Even though, I mean, Will Smith was living the dream. How many of us up here wish they had a rich uncle that lived in Bel Air? I mean,
man.
Wish we had a rich uncle that would take us in.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think that was super dope. But one of my best friends growing up, his name was Antoine Dasher. He was Martin. That's who he was, and I felt like a lot of the characters that were in the show, they were relatable. That's why. I mean, I always gravitated toward Martin than I did Fresh Prince.
So for me, it's interesting because Fresh Prince is like had the longevity, which we've proven means nothing in sports and in TV shows, but had the longevity. It was more popular, it was more accepted. I'm sure there was more viewers. Fresh Prince with his bubblegum. Rap that he was doing back then, even though now he's kind of, I'm an action star, bizarre. Like, okay, he's weird now, but back then he was, Fresh Prince was that. But if I'm picking a show, just like with our previous TV show debate, I'm going to go with the show that had like funnier scenes, funnier characters, relatable characters. Listen, I started off as Tommy, where no one knew what I did. My friend group had no idea where I was. They
ain't got no job.
They knew they saw me. I was always around. I had a nice car. They knew I had money, but they're like, "Where's this guy work?" They had no idea. And then as I got older, I literally turned into Martin. When people overstay their welcome at my house, they will tell you. Tone's like, "Get out," and they're like, "What? Yep, time to go. Hit the road. Let's go out." Like I'll just throw them out. So and during that stretch of time, I also had a friend who I referred to as. I just lost everything. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
That was crazy. I lost everything. I had a friend who I still to this day will refer to as brother man, because he would just show up at my house and like want to eat a sandwich and drink and drink my sodas, and like you guys don't know because you've never seen the show. You know, and
Chris,
even
if you
Mark,
can imagine, Chris, if you can imagine, like you came home and this dude is just in your house, in your refrigerator.
yeah, sitting on your couch eating like he has a big Kaiser bun with all your full cuts. Just
he
eating.
literally just got out your shower.
It's kind of like jazz in breakfast.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is jazz. Yeah,
wearing your shower cap in your bathrobe, eating your sandwich, like, and then the dynamic between Martin and I was gonna say Gina, but not Gina, with Pam, how they hated each other. Shanae, like there's so many iconic characters. So I got to go with Martin, although it was a little short lived. But you know, talk about those guys becoming. You know, Martin went on to be a star too, as did Tisha Campbell, Pam, and people forget the friend too of Martin's best friend used to play Cockroach on the Cosby Show. Like it was an incredible cast. So I'm gonna go with Martin too. All right.
Before we get out of here, I want to run down something to you guys really quickly because oh, that's right, we got people here. No,
we got people. Yeah, we got people. So Joe is up. What is your debate, Joe?
I'm going to be talking more about Luka Doncic, and it's not more about this kind of performance. What I'm saying is Luka Doncic's effort and attitude is a big problem for his own game and a problem for the Lakers as a whole.
Attitude,
yeah, and effort as well. I agree with this, of course, and I want to debate chill about it.
Go.
I think Luka Doncic, I know that this guy can defend. I'm going to what is ever for starters. I know he can defend because I've seen it at Dallas, but I feel like now as we're getting through now, we've seen it at the end of Dallas, and now we're here with Los Angeles. I feel like he's completely dropping off in terms of effort defensively. I think he's not putting in the effort that I've seen in Dallas, that I also seen in the finals at times. I think now it's just a complete drop off of what he can, and I know that he's capable of it. But this is where Simpson's the attitude. This guy is just complaining, and I understand that sometimes you might get a call, it doesn't go your way. That's frustrating. I understand that, but it's almost like it's every play where he's going up the floor. He gets a hard lay, misses it, doesn't go his way. It's immediately calling out the refs. You've just got to play on with it. Jaylen Brown's done it, and I understand that, but this guy's doing it almost every single game. And we've seen it in the finals when it was game 3, and you need to win that game to make it 2-1. And Johnny Dunn, he got ejected. He fouled out and got ejected. And this has been going on. And JJ Redick is now having problems with this guy in the locker room because you know why? His attitude and effort's a problem for now the Lakers. This guy, let's be honest, he's the leader. You might want to say LeBron, but he's 41. He's not going to be the leader for much longer, even if he is now. Luka's the new leader, regardless whether it's this season or next season. And something needs to change. He needs to act like a leader and show your team and say you are that guy that and have a good attitude when you're winning and losing and when calls aren't going your way. Don't cry and don't get oh, no way.
Just so you know, Joe.
1 minute, Joe.
Just so you know, Joe. I'm not sure if you know this. You being a Boston Celtics fan, Jason Tatum led the league in text last year. So
he's at this.
I just want to put that on you. I want to start there, right? So I want to start there, and I want to move forward too. So over the last 7 games, since you're on the subject of attitude, so over the last 7 games, the Lakers have the last 10 games. I'm sorry, the Lakers have won. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. 7 of those 10 games, Luka is averaging 38, shooting 40% from the floor, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. And I don't know if you noticed, but they're 3rd in the Western Conference right now, and they're a game and a half up on everybody else. So that attitude that you talk about, that complaining that you're talking about, that was going on all last year. And you know what that did? That got them to the NBA championship. So the effort on defense, that got them to the NBA championship. That effort on defense, he became a first-team All-Pro doing that. That effort on defense and that complaining got them at the top of the Western Conference. So they're moving up the standings with Luka, with this attitude that you say is hurting the team. Meanwhile, these guys have won 9 of their last 10 games. In addition to them winning 9 of their last 10 games, he's been rolling, and he's led the league in scoring the entire season. In addition to him leading the league in scoring the entire season, he's also in the top 3 in the league in assists. So that attitude is going to get him a top 5 league MVP conversation. Not only is it going to get him a top 5 league MVP conversation, but they're going to be a problem come playoff time. So the idea of his attitude changing, you got this idea of these guys being perfect basketball players. We're going to have something to complain about, guys. But in the end, what is the result? And the result is Luka has shown that I can be a first team All NBA performer, and he's been that constantly throughout the course of his career.
I mean, if you want to talk about him going to the NBA championship, that's great.
30 seconds to make your final point, Joe.
That's fine. You can always in the NBA championship. That's great. It was 4-1. It was a gentleman's sweep, and in Game 3 he got ejected for it. It's all good and well going to the finals, but when you perform like that and getting ejected in Game 3 with a vital game, that just shows the mentality that you were in that game. You was beaten mentally and physically at that point, and if you're not going to put the effort in, just fall out, then it's almost like the team's going to be saying, "What's the point of even being here? If our leaders, if that's what you're going to do." And maybe the Lakers are on a roll, but when you need to win in the NBA Finals, the most intense game of your life and the hardest series you'll ever face, you need to be on it, attitude and effort-wise. And this guy, like we've seen in 2024, when he wasn't on it, attitude and effort-wise, got smoked out by Boston. That's it.
So are you suggesting that if his attitude and his effort had changed, they wouldn't have got smoked anyway? Because Boston was better than Dallas, regardless of how good they were, regardless of what Luka Doncic was doing. I don't know if you remember this, but Kyrie Irving was nothing short of disastrous in the NBA Finals. He was awful, and in fact, not only was he awful, Porzingis came in and actually won a game for them because he utilized the lack of size and lack of experience that they had in the front court and destroyed them. What you're going to try to sell this panel up here is that the reason why they lost was because Luka's lack of effort and his attitude was the problem, when in reality, the Boston Celtics were a better team than the Dallas Mavericks, and it wasn't close, which would explain why they were smoked.
Jalen.
Yep.
Who you got?
Showdown for this one. I do think a lot of Joe, I think, which a lot more feeling of how he felt about Luka, while Showdown focused more on what Luka was doing on the court.
Or RB.
Yeah, it's got to go with Chilltown as well. That's a tough one. I know it's easy to kind of pick shots at Luka, but at the end of the day, I think Chilltown made the points that really mattered.
Chris.
I do think that Luka's attitude has hurt his teams in the past, but not this year. So yeah, Chilltown.
All right, only because we're short on time. Joe, appreciate it. Unfortunately, sir, you are 0 for 4.
Keep trying, Joe.
John Cena. I can't see him. However, we have 30 seconds to make 1 point, Jalen. Who is the better scorer relative to their era? Kareem or Gretzky? You said it's Gretzky, so
easy.
30 seconds.
Wayne Gretzky's the all-time leader in goals and assists in the NHL. You take away all of his goals, well, he's second right now, but he was first for the longest time. You take away all his goals and just count his assists, he's the all-time leading scorer in the NHL. The most points by taking away half of what everyone else can do. He has 10 scoring titles. You know what's saying that is 10 scoring titles in 20 seasons, and he has 8 or 9 MVPs. We're talking about a guy who's the best goal scorer of his generation, the best playmaker in the history of hockey, 10 MVPs, 8 to 9 MVPs and 10 scoring titles. Then 10 scoring titles in 20 seasons. Kareem not doing that. Wilt not doing that. Wayne Gretzky statistically the greatest athlete of all time, statistically.
Oh, it's wonderful. And you made my point why it's Kareem, because you had to talk about everything other than his scoring. You talked about his assist, which isn't his scoring. You talked about his MVP, which just isn't scoring. You talked about everything that isn't scoring. Kareem, longevity, the greatest scorer, the most points in the history of the NBA. It took LeBron James, it took 40 years until someone could surpass him. And he had something that Wayne Gretzky will never have, a signature move that no one could stop. The skyhook remains to this day the most unstoppable thing that you can do. So what he did was era-proof. It didn't matter that it was the free-flowing Gretzky era where there was no one in front of the net and he could do whatever he wants, where in a physical era he would get smoked and get killed in the clutch and grab era of the neutral zone trap. He couldn't do it. However, Kareem, whether it was the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, today, that skyhook would still score 25 points a game. He, relative to sport, is a better scorer.
There's just no way. There's just no way.
Oh man.
Ari.
That's excellent. That's gonna go to Fluent. That's gonna go to Fluent. That was good. That was good.
Wayne Gretzky won the league MVP 9 times in 10 years.
Right? That's what I'm talking about. Let him know.
Not anymore because no one can do it.
Oh my goodness, this guy was incredible. He won the league MVP 8 straight years. What the fuck is going on here?
That's crazy.
This is incredible.
That shows what a weak era it was.
Oh my God.
Bunch of plumbers.
He has 4 200-point seasons.
Oh my
You're right.
I pick a winner of the debate. We got to go. We're so over time.
He knows
Yeah.
what it is.
Oh man.
Yeah, Jalen. It's yeah. They set you up. They set you up, Fluent, for sure.
Here we go. Let's go.
They set me up. Listen, I just took Kareem. I think it's Gretzky too, for that matter. So that's awesome.
It is.
Oh man! All right, catch us. I'm sorry, Leaf. We are out of time, my brother. We are out. Catch us next week, same time, 8:30 Wednesday, for Fluent versus Chill versus everyone.
The stage is set. Diversity of takes. Nothing but buckets of debate. Thanks to Sports Fluent, Chilltown Hoops, All-American Hoops, Hoop Social, and Jalen Carter Music. Fluent versus Chill versus everyone. The internet's best sports debate show. Subscribe now. Stay heated. Stay hooping.
Now you're more fluent.